Hey, it's your girl Kim Brooks, national bestselling author of the novel He's Fine, but Is He Saved? Its sequel, He's Saved, but Is He for Real? Also, my latest novel, which is a romantic comedy Christian fiction called That Findeth, along with nonfiction ministry based books for singles that empower single women. And along with being an author, I'm also a licensed minister, certified relationship coach who loves love. And every Friday, I host and minister a singles Bible study every Friday night on YouTube. And in between, I share videos on relationships. And I've recently added commentary on some of my favorite social experiment dating and marriage shows, such as this one, Married at First Sight. So tonight we're going to get into this last episode. And I apologize for last week. I recorded a review and my sound wasn't on. And I didn't realize until after I'd done the whole thing and I didn't get a chance to record it over. But this time you guys are getting a raw, uncut review. And that's my specialty over here. I hear a lot of people that review, what do they call them? They review the different shows, they actually edit them afterwards. Mine, raw, uncut, unedited. If I'm gonna make a mistake, you're gonna hear the mistake. You are getting it straight from my heart, like the words say, out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Oh, speaking of which, I share my take as I share my commentary because this is from like a Christian perspective. So as I share what's happening, I may throw in some Christian perspective in there as well, some wisdom nuggets in there as well. So, all right. So let's start at the top of the episode. We got Chloe and Michael. They are in day one of their marriage. Oh my goodness, y'all. They woke up and Chloe done had 4 panic attacks in the middle of the night. Ooh, Jesus. So Michael, he was like, she was like, "How did you sleep?" He was like, not too good." And she was like, "Well, I slept well." Michael was like, "You had 4 panic attacks." And then he even reenacted one of them. Oh my goodness. So she hops up and she screams. And interestingly enough, I can relate. Like I sometimes mumble in my sleep. Sometimes I remember years ago, I was in a room with a few girlfriends, and they were like, "Kim, you were talking in your sleep." And then also when my mom was living, I was staying with my mom until I was in my late 20s, and she would hear me sometimes in the other room, or yeah, that was interesting. Now, if I'm really nervous, I have popped up before. I think a lot of us, let me know if you've done it too, where you just kind of pop up and look around, or you're just like, you know, and so I've done that before. I've never done it multiple times, but, I think Chloe says she's never done it that much either, but she says she does it when she's very nervous. And it's definitely a life-changing experience, getting married to a complete stranger. It's like your whole life has changed. I mean, even if they decide to divorce, if they decide to divorce, they'll be a divorcee. If they stay married, they'll be married to a stranger that they have to get to know from day one at the altar. So either way, it's definitely a life-changing, life-altering. Not only that, you're doing it all on television for the world to see. So yeah, I mean, I can see how someone can be nervous, and I appreciate Chloe's honesty, and she's really in tune with her feelings. And I love how she communicates how she feels, and I really love how Michael. Oh my goodness, Michael is so supportive. He's so empathic. Oh my goodness, he is always thinking about and considering Chloe, and that's how a husband who truly has the capacity. Because this is what I talk about when I minister, a person that has the capacity to love you like Christ loves the church. And it's a sacrificial love. It's a love that really cares about what you're going through. And I feel like Michael embodies that. I don't know his faith or anything, but I just feel like he demonstrates that the way he's being toward Chloe. I mean, even the fact that with her waking up and popping up 4 times. Some men will be like, man, this is horrible. Who did I marry? I can't sleep like this. I can't every night, I would be able to get no sleep. There are a lot of men that would easily be their response, but not Michael. He's like, hey, I even wrote down where he said, I'm gonna let her work through this. So he's gonna let her work things out, work through it, and sort it out on her own, as far as and then he mainly be there for support. I love that. That's so supportive, such a blessing. So yeah. Next we have, oh, they're showing, and I wrote it in order, so hopefully, I mean, if I miss something, it's just that, y'all, to be honest, the first part of the show is kind of slow moving. It picks up near the end, so I may not cover every single thing. It's mainly me sharing highlights of what I thought was notable. So we have them showing Michael, Michael packing. He has 6 bags, and then Chloe, she's like a minimalist, and she's looking at him like, oh my goodness, he got half his closet in there, and that's not even near what I would have. So what I like about the two of them too is it's showing the world how you can come from two totally different walks of life, two ways of thinking, ways of doing things. I mean, to me, Chloe strikes me as someone who's very conservative, straight-laced, professional, corporate, whereas Michael strikes me as someone who is very artistic, very creative, in touch with his emotions, but while still very much masculine. And I love his confidence, but yet he's also in tune with some of his feminine side. And I'm not saying that from a standpoint of not being hetero, but just, how we as humans, we're all made up of X and Y chromosomes up in there, some more than others, but in the combination may be a little different, but we all have both. And I like how Michael, it's almost like he balances both, where he can be emotional, empathic, supportive, while at the same time being very masculine and warm and sexy. He reminds me of Prince. I was looking at him today, and I don't know if it's just the hair or the look. I actually don't think it is, because it's almost like his demeanor, how he still is like attractive as a man. He's a man that women want, while at the same time, not saying Michael out here wearing heels like Prince used to, but he got the longer hair, the curly style, but he's very much all man. And that's the part that's like almost like intriguing. And I think that's what Chloe likes about him. I think that's what causes her to be so sexually attractive to him. Because last week she was talking about she was hot. Y'all remember she was hot and bothered last week. So I think that's part of the attraction for her. And, because he is, and then that on top of the fact that he's nurturing toward her and very supportive. Oh my goodness. That alone, ladies, is attractive. I mean, I talk about when it comes to men, so many of us, we would put so much on looks, like he has to have a certain look. And a lot of times it's the same look that everybody wants. And it's like, what in the world? Come on now. To me, when you embody certain character traits, that makes you more attractive. And over time, and I talk about as you get to know someone, they may look one way in the beginning, but as you really get to know them, and if they have those character qualities that you're looking for, that makes them look more attractive. So, yeah, I think they're doing great. All right, next we have Emily and Brennan. They are in a counseling session with Dr. Pia, I believe. No, wait. No, this one I'm thinking about, they did one with Pastor Cal. Or did they do 2 of them, Lord? Like I said, this one that I have up here is when Brennan was saying losing you would suck. I really care about Emily. And I mean, oh, the two of them, it's like, I wish they were open and honest with each other in their communication. I mean, Emily, she communicates like she's walking on eggshells. She barely wants to say anything because she's not sure how he's going to react. Brennan is just trying to look like a decent person for the cameras. I'm like, just be yourself. If you're not a good guy, just be yourself. I mean, that would come off more authentic than what you're doing now, than trying to hide it. If you are someone that has a temper or has challenges or is too emotional in a negative way, because you could be emotional in a positive way, but you could also be in a negative way. And I think Brennan is in the negative way. But let us see it, let us all see it so we can at least see your truth. Because all this hiding and anytime Emily opens her mouth to anything that's not, causing you to be in a stellar light, you're silencing her. I agree with her friend when she said he's silencing her. Those are narcissistic traits, by the way, Vernon. I'm not gonna say you're a narcissist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't diagnose you, but there are certain narcissistic traits. And one of the traits is that you always want to be seen in a positive, perfect light. Anything other than that, you get mad at the other person. You don't even take accountability for what they say, or you don't even take what they say and examine it and say, well, let me consider that. If you feel that way about me, let me think about it. You don't even do that, because unfortunately, people that are narcissists, they don't know how to internalize criticism because they feel they're perfect, especially when you're the grandiose kind. And so they want everyone to play into this image of their delusional perfection. And perfection in and of itself is a delusion. No one is perfect. And guess what? That's okay. But Brendan is not at that place because the root of narcissistic personality disorder is insecurity, extreme insecurity, hidden underneath delusions of grandeur, where to the outside world, they want to appear perfect, but to their own inner world, they they pretty much are not happy with themselves. Some of them have internalized self-hate. Not saying this is Brennan, but his traits, the way he is presenting himself, he definitely has narcissistic traits. Now, some people have commented before. I think it was on my TikTok. They were like, and my TikTok, by the way, is at Hey Kim Brooks, HeyKimBrooks. And they had said something like, well, obviously he's hitting her, or he's violent. So, you know, I'm like, that's not obvious. If he was hitting her, do you think Married at First Sight as a franchise would keep him on, would keep them living together if he was being violent toward her? I don't think he's hitting her. And even she talked about how he hits walls and stuff. Now, that's a bad sign, because a lot of times if they're going to hit them walls, they're going to hit you. But I don't think he's being, during the show, violent toward Emily. Now, do I think Emily should say yes at decision day? Absolutely not. But I just don't think he's being violent toward Emily. I think he's still putting on a show for the cameras and trying to save face by presenting himself in this perfect light. And the reason I say that is his expressions. When they go through counseling, especially his face. I mean, oh my goodness, like I say, if looks could kill or unalive or whatever, it's not it's never pleasant. It's never a pleasant experience for him. And you could tell he doesn't like counseling. That's something else. People that are narcissists, they hate any type of counseling. Why? Because it forces them to be accountable for their own actions and behaviors. And they never like doing that. They never like it. They just want everyone to praise them, lift them up. They never want to self-examine, never want to take accountability. And if anyone tries to cause them to take accountability, then that person is the enemy. That person is negative. That person deserves to be devalued. So yeah, that's just the vibe I'm getting from Ben Brennan. Like I said, I don't know for sure, but that definitely is how he's coming across on TV. So Brennan, if you are watching this and if you say you are trying to not look like the bad guy on TV, you did not accomplish that goal. You are looking very bad, and that's probably why you don't show up for the after parties. Because why? You know, Keisha Napoleon would ask you some questions and require you to be accountable for some things, and you don't like accountability. So, yeah, then there's that. I just wish Emily would open up more. She seems more open and communicative with other people outside of the marriage, and that's actually not a good thing. If you're married, you always want to turn toward each other with the problem. And I love how I think Pastor Cal mentioned it in his book. He has a book, y'all. It's called Marriage is Not for Punks. I thought about possibly reviewing it on my channel, but definitely pick it up. And in his book, he talks about how you always want to turn towards each other and attack the problem and not each other, and look at whatever you're dealing with for what it is, a problem. And the thing with Emily that I think is detrimental to their marriage is she often looks outward for validation of her feelings by always communicating with outsiders about her marriage. And even from the standpoint of men don't like that in general. No one likes that. No one, men or women. If you're talking to other people outside of your marriage about your marriage, and then you run into these same people, or these same people are being invited to your home, I personally don't like the idea of another person knowing all the details what's going on in my relationship. I remember I dated this one guy, and he had a sister, one sister, and I think she was a few years older. And I felt like the three of us were in a relationship, because when I would go over their house, well, the family, I guess, stayed together. That was something else I found out later, was he stayed with his family. And it was like the sister would say certain things to me, and it would let me know that he was talking to her about things about me. And I'm like, I feel like I'm in a relationship with three people. Like, he'll make a decision, he'll say one thing, and then the next day he'll change his mind. I'm like, did you talk to your sister? I mean, that's just not a good feeling. If you having issues, you should be able to talk to each other. Now, I know people like to at least chat. They like to chat, but here's the thing. If you want to talk to someone on the outside about your marriage, and you're married, let it be another married couple that's happily married in a healthy relationship for a long time, like 5 years plus. Don't go to your single friends that's gonna be like, girl, you better leave him. What he da 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 da. Mm-mm. If you are married and you have things you question or you're not sure, have like a marriage mentor and a very close friend, or just someone that's happily married. Because what I found, I have most of my friends are married. And what I love about my married friends is if I even have a question about a relationship, they don't just cut to, he ain't right. And they don't, because your friends are always going to look out for your best interest as your friend. They rarely look at the big picture, they rarely look at his point of view. But what a married person does, a happily married person, they listen to what you tell them, and they make conclusions based on his perspective, your perspective, and they try to work on the best solution. Why? Because they want it to work. They want it to work. Now, and then a lot of times they're going to be realistic with you as well. They're not going to always be pie in the sky if they are your good friends, because ultimately they do have your best interests at heart. So that's the thing with Emily. It's like she's talking to her friend. She's talking to Claire. Oh my goodness. Now, Claire, that piece with Claire and Emily talking to each other, it's like Emily is saying things to Claire that she should be saying to Brandon. It's like she's two different people. She's very timid and shy, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, and making all these faces with Brandon. But when it comes to her girlfriends, she's very vocal. Oh, he does this. Oh, and it's all negative Nelly, all negative to her friends. So of course her friends are going to side with her if you present it that way. And yeah, so I think that's a big no as far as if you're in a marriage, you don't want everybody and their mama to be all in your business, and then you saying negative things about your spouse. Because guess what? At the end of the day, No matter the circumstance at which you got married, you chose him, and that's one thing too. Whoever you marry, do not speak negatively about your spouse to other people because they're a reflection of you. I had one friend, she did this in the beginning, I think in the first year of their marriage, but thank God she eventually stopped. And she eventually stopped complaining to her family about her husband because it doesn't make sense. It's like you picked him. Y'all picked, even though he proposed to you, you still said yes. So you picked him. So definitely want to do that. So I think that would help. Um Brennan. Oh, so what I did like when Pastor Cal was like, I'm not a fan of calling each other friends because he basically was like, I love when he was like, this is not friendship at first sight. This is married at first sight, not friends at first sight. I was like, ooh. That was good but the sad part is they weren't even getting to a point where they were decent friends. Like she would say, well, would a friend do that? And he's like, what? So they weren't even good friends, let alone trying to be lovers or anything romantic. I just don't see it for the two of them. I do not see them working out. Brennan needs to go either be with himself or go to therapy, which I thought he would do that. Emily, I think she is a party girl, and that's really not something you want to have as a married woman. You want to be a little more ready to settle down and not drink so much and go out so much. So I think both of them have a lot of things to work on, and I don't think they will work. I mean, if they stayed together, it would be very toxic. They wouldn't be happy. It would just be, I mean, they never even slept together as a married couple either. So no, I think they should say no I think they will say no on decision day. So we're just pretty much going through the motions on our end until the okay. Let's see. Now, yeah, I have something that Brennan puts. He said, what was the thing that she mentioned something about, I know about the friend thing. When Emily was like, people were saying that, and that's the other thing, people that talk about people to other people are the same people that very much value the opinions of other people because they talk about other people to other people. So it's kind of like all this gossipy stuff, which is not healthy. So while I did agree when Brennan was like, you shouldn't listen to your friends, because she said her friends said that her friends said that they weren't even acting like friends. And she repeated that to Brennan, and he was like, why listen to them? But what I did not hear Brennan say, and this is rarely what I hear him say, it's more like he dictates how she should feel instead of asking Emily, how do you feel? Rarely does he do that. Rarely. I mean, for Brennan, he's all about Brennan. He's in survival mode. He's trying to save face, doesn't want to look bad for the cameras, and something's wrong with her if it's not working. And total opposite of, I guess shouldn't compare, but I am. Total opposite of Michael, who is very much empathetic, in tune with his wife, concerned about her feelings. Brennan is like, he's more concerned with his image, how he comes across. And even when Emily made that statement, he didn't give her any validation. He didn't say anything like, oh, wow, they said that. Wow, what do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Nope. He was just like, don't listen to them. Ignore them. So, yeah, Brennan's not ready to love. Oh, wait, that's the other show. No, Brennan, he just interviewed well for the show. But I'm glad Pastor Cal showed us both their interviews because we saw Brennan and how he was lying. Because Brennan was on that interview lying his butt off, talking about he's affectionate, he's supportive, he'll never give up. In other words, I think the reason Pastor Cal showed that was to show the viewing audience that so that they wouldn't look bad for setting Emily up with a man like Brennan. They had to show that clip, that interview, so that we can see what that person told them during the interview, because Brennan was lying. And even when Pastor Cal said to Emily, "Do you think this is the same person?" Pastor Cal knew in the back of his head that that man wasn't the same person. He knew. That's why he asked her. He was wanting to see if she would be willing to admit it. And guess what? She didn't. She just skirted all around the answer. My thing is this: direct questions deserve direct answers. And the direct question, is he the same person on this interview? Emily, all you had to do was say yes or no. She didn't. She gave a political response, circling around, going around the mulberry bush, and didn't answer directly. I was like, and that hits the problem. No open and honest communication amongst them. Because she was afraid of the consequence, which would be Brennan's reaction if she would have just been honest and said, no, he's not the same person. He's not affectionate. He's not supportive. He's not trying. He's not giving it his all. He's not coachable. He's not, because remember in the interview, he's like, I will do everything you say. He's not doing everything. Remember in the last episode, he was like, well, we did a version of what you suggested. No, if you're doing a version of it, you're not doing what they asked. He's very crafty and cunning with his words and how he communicates. Very much so. And I do agree with Emily's friend when she did the FaceTime with her. Like I said, I'm saying this review, it's all out of order. When her friend said he's manipulative. And what's the deal with it's been a lot of men on this season that have been manipulative. Orion is manipulative. Brennan manipulative. What is going on? That is interesting. These manipulative men. So yeah, that was frustrating to watch because Brennan was not, and that's exactly. Now let me know in the comments what y'all think. But some things I look at like from a producer's hat. I am a producer. I produced it. I produced stage plays, and I'm about to produce my first movie. And so I know when Pastor Cal showed us, the viewing audience, their interview tape, it was more for us than it was for them, so that we can know, and so we can see that he was not the same person. Because anybody watching the show would think to themselves, why? And I'm sure the three experts have heard that time and time again. Why did you set up this person with that person? Why did you do this? Why do you do that? So they're showing us this is how this person interviewed with us. He presented a false persona. It was not him. It was not the same person. And I do think he also wanted to give Emily an opportunity to fess up and speak her truth and be like, no, that's not the same person. But she didn't do it. All right. Next I have here Chloe and Michael. They went on a hike, I guess, which was interesting. I guess she wanted to showcase something she was afraid of, and she kind of compared it to, the fact that she got married to a stranger. So it's like somehow making a connection. So that was cool. I mean, they went on the hiking trip. That was good. Becca and Austin. Oh, like I said a few episodes ago, a few reviews ago, Austin does not like Becca romantically. Even from the beginning, I knew that Austin, he's someone else that's putting on for the cameras, but he's Mr. Nice Guy. He's Mr. I'm going to appear to be supportive, empathetic, listening, but really he's not sexually attracted to Becca. He doesn't want to sleep with her. He doesn't like her romantically, and I don't think he's physically attracted to her either. And I said in the other videos why I believe that. And so he's just going through the motions. And that's what I don't, is this a Colorado thing? Is this a Colorado thing? Because most of these couples are all about image and they tell you what you want to hear. It's like they're well versed in putting on a face. Is that a Colorado? Is it a Denver thing? Because this is ridiculous. Most of the couples do this, men or women. Most of them do it. So Austin, I mean, it's like at this point, Becca, if I were you, I would cut off. All. What did she say? They like to make out and they're always holding hands. And even during the session, the counseling, I think was it with Dr. Pia? They're holding hands. I would keep my hands to myself. I would cut off all PDA. No more making out. If we're not going all the way, we're over a month in and we're married. She wants to sleep with her husband. He's talking about I need time. What kind of he needs time? And he's had time. So if I were Becca, I would be like, you know what? Based on your actions, you're giving me mixed signals. You're giving me mixed signals. I need clarity. I need assurance. So I want you to make a decision. Just like that one guy said, this is my decision day. I want you to make a decision. If you like me, then show me. If not, you don't have to show me. But we're going to cut off this holding hands, making out, because it's just fake. He's being fake. You know, he's not being real. And then he's talking about, oh, the cats and my allergy, and I don't want fake and feminine acting. And I think that's the main reason is because he talking about some pagan. I didn't even know what pagan was. I had to Google it. Thank goodness I didn't look it up or nothing, but I had to Google what is pegging. And I'm like, what kind of man? So I don't think he's heterosexual because he likes pegging. And for that reason, I think that's another reason he is not attracted to Becca. Now, he may be attracted to both sexes. I don't know. But either way, I don't think he's attracted to Becca. And I think Becca deserves better. She doesn't deserve half effort, half like, half love. She doesn't deserve that. She's too sweet of a person. She deserves 100% whole attraction, whole love, whole commitment. Austin is full of excuses and he's playing in her face. That's why I'm like, she needs to just not hold his hand and be like, let me know when you made up your mind whether or not you're committed to me, whether or not you love me, or even if you want me, just let me know what you decide. But until then, we're not making out, holding hands, and then you stopping when I'm trying to take your pants down. Like she literally said that he stops when she tries to go further. And she literally said, I cannot take being rejected anymore. So I say this, Becca, don't even give yourself an opportunity to get hot and bothered. Don't even, I say cut it off to him. No making out, no hand holding until he makes a decision whether or not he wants to be with you or not and be committed to you or not. That way it will guard your heart. Because otherwise you like, okay, he likes me because we're making out, but he doesn't want to go all the way. So does he really like me? I don't know. He's my husband. What's going on? Nope. I'll say cut it off. So that's my little nuggets there. All right. So I talked about him in his. Oh, and I didn't like when Dr. Peel was like, what about flirting, throughout the day, building up the PDA and, building it up. He's talking about it's hard to fit it in. What kind of foolishness? That's not even something you fit in. You walk by your wife, you pat her on the butt, or you kiss her on the cheek, or you grab her from the back. Like, what is going on? He does not like you, Becca, and it's his loss. It's his loss. I don't even want Becca to feel bad. I mean, he has his own sexual preferences that he has to deal with, that he may need to just come on out with. So I don't want Becca to take anything personally. She's a beautiful person inside and out. All right. Chloe and Michael, oh my goodness, they had a massage. Ooh, it was nice. And I love, oh my goodness, the couples massage. I love how the massage therapist did each of them. And then they were like, and now I want you to massage each other. And Michael massaged Chloe. And I love while they were doing the massage, they gave each other like compliments of what they like about each other, what makes them attracted to each other. I thought that was beautiful. I thought that whole massage experience was really, really nice. And I can tell that they're attracted to each other physically. And like Michael said, he was happy that there's chemistry so fast. So I don't think that they'll have the same issue as Becca and Austin. Let's see. Next we have, I know I kind of went out of order. Okay, so I'm going to skip down. I'm going to skip down to the last scene in the episode. Chloe and Michael, where Chloe prepared dinner for Michael. He came out, and that's when she said, again, she repeated how she was very emotionally overwhelmed and frightened because of the experience. But oh my goodness, y'all, listening to Michael, oh my goodness, complete turn on. Because he was so empathetic, so understanding, so supportive. When he said, I want you to be comfortable. I want you to get comfortable with prioritizing yourself. I cried right along with Chloe because, I can relate to her. I'm also independent in the sense that I'm used to doing things on my own. And we're also used to being there for others, putting others above ourselves. It's almost like part of our DNA. And rarely do we put ourselves first. And never, just like Chloe said, never have we heard a man say, be selfish, because typically the man is the one that's only thinking about himself. So for Michael to say that and to give her that liberty and that freedom, oh my goodness, I know Chloe was like, cut the cameras off, because he made her feel so safe. I mean, even when he said, I know this is a lot, so I'm just going to let you go through this, and I'll be there for support, even if it's just to cry on my shoulder. Whew, to me, y'all, he wins the Husband of the Year award. Husband of the Year award. That was such a beautiful moment, so touching. Even Chloe was like, turn the cameras off, because she was overwhelmed with emotion, crying. And then at the end, she was crying in his arms. I pray that they stay committed to each other, and I pray that they continue to build strong emotional connection, because that's what love is. Love is the strongest emotional connection. And some of the behaviors of when you're in love is that it's coupled with action, it's coupled with commitment, it's coupled with looking out for the other person, being there for each other. And I could just see them as, and the interesting thing is, I see them as great partners. I don't see them having like traditional gender roles. I see them as communicating with each other, who does what, and expectations. I mean, I think for them, I think that's their strongest suit, is how they communicate to each other. And they're open, they're honest, they have open and honest communication, they're vulnerable with each other, and they're going through this experience together. But I love how Michael, he literally is taking on the leadership role by showing Chloe that he's there for her as she processes this. Because guess what? He's going through this too. He's processing it in his own way. But instead of putting his burdens on her, he'd rather deal with that on his own and take on hers. Tell me that ain't Jesus. I'm being silly. But no, that's just awesome. I mean, to me, that's a leader. That's a true leader in a household. So I'm happy for them. And Lord, they may be our saving grace for a relationship that works on this show, because all the other couples are not, I don't think none of them are gonna say yes. I mean, besides who's left? I mean, Orion, he dipped out early. Claire, she pretty much gave up on Cameron. Emily and Brennan, no. Becca and Austin, no. So thank God for Michael and Chloe. They may be this whole season's saving grace. So, all right, that's the end of my commentary. Share your comments. Like the video if you liked it. And if you'd like to join my community, KIM Unity, what they say, UNITY, KIMUNITY. You can see in the description links to join up with me in my groups. Single, Saved, and Celibate with Kim Brooks on Facebook. It's a private group. Also, Leveling Up While Single and Saved. And that's from a Christian perspective, where we focus on self-love, self-care, self-care, wealth, and mental and physical health. Leveling Up While Single. So you can join me, and I'm always in those groups, so you can join me and meet me there. And then also, if you like to read, you can check out my books. The links are in the description on how you can get your copies. Thank you so much for your support. Follow for more. Subscribe to my channel if you like it. And as I always say, be and stay encouraged. Peace.